Hello everybody, welcome to Robin Craig Live. I'm Robin Craig, your host for the next hour. I'm so happy that you're joining me because tonight we're talking about being thankful. You know, last week was Thanksgiving. How did you guys come out? Was it difficult? Was it okay? Did you feel thankful? Or was it like, oh my gosh, the house is full of people, I've got to cook, there's so much going on? It's always that half empty or half full glass of water. And so I wanted to talk about that tonight because the holidays are difficult for a lot of us, especially if you're suffering from adversity and especially if it's in the form of personal loss. It's so easy to say everything sucks and I'm sad and times are hard. It's so easy to go there. But being thankful has a lot of positive effects that we're going to talk about a little later in the show. But first, it's time for the Critter Update. Now, you guys know that I recently caught a possum. I don't know if I shared with you that I caught a second possum, and they were both relatively small. They were young, and people keep saying, Robin, you've gotten so good at this. What do you catch them with? And I pretty much catch them with whatever I have in my refrigerator. The last one was caught with chicken fried steak, potato salad, and coleslaw. Now, how could any critter resist that? He almost like just jumped in the cage. It was really great. And I took a different friend. My neighbor Cindy took me to the reservoir with the possum before last. On the last one, I took a different friend because I keep telling people how fun it is to catch the critters and release them back to the wild. And now everybody wants to go. So I'm thankful that I have gotten to this wonderful place in my widowhood that I take the challenges straight on. I really don't freak out like I did earlier on. I just look at a situation and I think I know I can handle it. Let me deal with that. As a matter of fact, I had a friend take me to the shooting range this past Sunday afternoon. And I have never been before, but talk about widowhood empowerment. To learn how to shoot is really amazing. When I was raised, my grandmother had a .22 rifle, and we used to shoot tin cans off of the fence and that kind of thing. But that was literally eons ago. I mean, she's been deceased for 32 or so years. So it was way before that when I did that. So it's been 100 years. And my friend said, you know, you really need to shoot. And I said, I know, I've talked about it during my 6 years of widowhood. Next thing you know, we're down there. It felt like a movie set. I don't know if you guys have ever been before, but it's just like in the movies, this great big hollow room. There are shell casings all over the floor. You have to be careful not to slide around on those. And it was just like Charlie's Angels, you know, holding your arms straight out, locking them into position. And I realized that I didn't even know how to hold a handgun. And I also learned that you can get hurt if you don't know how. So if you have a weapon for protection, I totally recommend going to the shooting range and having someone who is experienced teach you how to shoot your gun and how to do it safely so that if and when something occurs, I hope it never does, but if something occurs and you need to protect yourself or your family, you feel confident. I know what to do. So that was very empowering. I'm very thankful for my friend. I'm thankful for the lesson I got. And I'm thankful that I now feel really confident that I know what to do if something happens. Now, I also want to mention that if you're here in the Houston area, if you have any kind of physical issues going on, go see Dr. Sean Jackson at Health Source. He is a fabulous chiropractor. He does everything from spinal manipulation. He offers massage therapy. He has a weight loss system. He has a cellulite removal system. We all need that one, I know. And he does blood testing. He's a great guy. So if you're anywhere near the greater Houston area, his number is 713-896. Let me look here real quickly. I forget the end of it. 1443, 896-1443. Go see Dr. Sean Jackson. Now, I want to get some people on the phone tonight because we are talking about being thankful. And as I said, it can be so challenging to be thankful. And that's what we're trying to do here on Robin Craig Live. We're learning to be grateful despite all of the things that happen to us. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to call Shannon. She is in Indiana, and she just got through. I log on half an hour early. So if you're watching the show for the first time, if you log on early, we get everybody chatting from across the nation. And Shannon is expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight. Can you imagine? That makes my Texas blood feel so cold. So let's give her a buzz and see what she is thankful for. Hello, Miss Shannon. You're on Robin Craig Live. How are you, sweetie?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Robin?
I am doing just great. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
We did have a lovely Thanksgiving. We actually got to spend it with my late husband's family. It was a great big family get-together, extended family as well, and we really enjoyed ourselves.
Excellent. Well, I know. How long have you been a widow, Shannon?
My husband passed away on May 6, 2008, so it's been about 3.5 years.
Okay. Well, what are you thankful for now?
I am thankful for, of course, my widow community. I was lucky that I ran into Carol's book, Widow's Wear Stilettos, back even before the book came out, because it allowed me to meet the people on the Widow message board, and from there we started networking on Facebook. That's how I got involved with Camp Widow, and I'm telling you, those ladies just sharing our stories, being able to talk about everything is such a blessing. I think it's mutually beneficial for everybody.
Yes, I know. Do you feel that you are more thankful now than you were prior to being widowed?
I will say yes. You have to figure I was 26 years old when my husband died. I had not really experienced life, and I had no idea exactly how fragile it was until after he had passed. I take everything now as a blessing in disguise. Whether it's a tough test or a child crying, at least we have that moment to share with them.
Yes. Do you appreciate your children more? I know you've always been a great mom and your kids are so cute, but do you appreciate them in a different way after having lost your husband?
I do. I find it my son especially, because when I look at him, I see my husband, and I definitely cherish everything he does. Just being able to watch him grow up. The same with my daughter. She was such an unexpected blessing in my life, and I hold them so much tighter because we don't know how much time we have.
Yes, I know. My father, who died at age 81, used to always say, if you go out to the cemetery, you see as many short graves as you do long ones. And he was basically saying we die at all ages and we don't know when it's coming. So to be appreciative and grateful and thankful for every moment is so important. But sometimes we don't see it until we experience loss, and then we become much more thankful.
I agree with that entirely.
Yes. What would you say, Shannon, to people who are struggling right now with the holidays and just having a lot of difficulty because they're experiencing adversity? What would you say to them about being able to feel thankful?
Don't give up hope. There is beauty in every day, and holidays I know make us sad because we miss what's gone. But there's so much that remains. You need to remember what it is that makes you smile, what it is that makes your family happy. There's beauty in the holidays even with their loss, because we can also take them with us through those days.
That is absolutely so beautiful. The chat room, I love it. There's so many people in the chat room, and Sandy said that just this year, her cousin's 3-year-old grandson died from a fluke accident swallowing a push pin.
Oh, man.
I mean, you just can't imagine that. And of course, that's what she was saying, that we just never know and we don't understand why. But we do have to find acceptance, and we do have to find that place of gratitude for what we do have. But I mean, that's such a tragedy, and there's no way you could ever find that. I know I have a cousin, when he was a little bitty, he swallowed his sister's. She had a little Barbie doll, and you know how tiny those little high heel Barbie shoes are? He swallowed one. And my aunt was trying to get her hand down his mouth and she couldn't, but she thought very quickly on her feet and she ran across the street where there was an Asian woman who was little tiny and she had little bitty hands, and the lady ran over and reached in and got that shoe out and saved him. Isn't that crazy? Goodness gracious. I know life is just so precarious and we don't know what to expect. But when we're thankful, we feel happier because our focus is different. And I think
Yes.
that's one of the most important lessons of widowhood is to take control of our brains and not let these traumatic situations bring us down forever. It's going to bring you down. Obviously, there's no way you can say, "Oh, someone I love died," and laugh it off. Of course, we're going to be brought down. But if we can keep an attitude of gratitude, I think that that helps us get through it. And we have so many blessings. To just name some things, Shannon, that you're grateful for.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you on that.
Yeah, just name some things that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for the ability to go back to school and actually go into grief counseling. Again, I'm very grateful for my widow community and my friends, the family that I'm close to, and especially my mother. She is just my rock. She's what keeps me grounded. Um, I'm very thankful for a roof over our head. I couldn't imagine going through such economic times as we are, being without a home, without safety. There's so much I am thankful for, but those are the main ones.
Do you tell people that you're thankful for them now since you've been widowed?
Yes, in fact, I just read a blog a couple days ago where I named so many people just to tell them thank you. It was basically in lieu of the holidays, but I try now to remember to tell people because sometimes we forget. There's
Yes.
times now that I wish I would have told Tim one more time that I loved him. So I try to do that more now than I did in the past.
Yes. And have you ever reached a place where you're able to say thank you for the loss?
At times, yes, I can see where his loss is sometimes better who I am as a person. Um, I think it really gave me a better outlook on life as far as its true beauty, even in loss. Um, it's hard sometimes to be thankful for losing somebody so wonderful in my life, but I can see
Yes.
the positive changes it's also made in me.
I know, and that's the place where I try to be, and it sure is hard to be able to say thank you that I lost my spouse. That's a really hard place to get to. But if we say the sentence like thank you for the loss, in that I am now a better person and I am more appreciative and I am more real and I am more understanding and more compassionate, that's a great place to be. And I know that's where I am now. And I wasn't like that before.
It definitely takes time to get to that place because you have to get past the shock, you have to get past the anger and the hurt and say, okay, this is who I am now. I would not be this person now if I had not gone through this loss.
Yes, I know, it's crazy. And I'm just watching the chat room, which is just exploding with people sharing their stories. And Julia is saying that her friend's niece was killed on Thanksgiving in an automobile accident. Oh my goodness, Julia, I'm so sorry to hear that. Things are even more tragic, in my opinion, when they occur on a holiday like Christmas or Thanksgiving. You can never feel at peace on those days when you lose someone. I know Anne Marie, she was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and Thanksgiving would have been her 27th wedding anniversary. And it's hard to sit around and have fun with your friends when you're thinking, I should be celebrating my anniversary with my husband. But this is where we are in life. Things just happen, and we have to deal with it. But if we can learn how to be grateful and thankful through all of the terrible things that happen, we come out much, much better. I think it's fabulous. Well, Shannon, do you have any advice for people who are just struggling in general with their widowhood? I know you're a young widow, and that poses some different issues than people who maybe are a little bit older, because you're so young, you missed out on so much with your husband and, of course, watching the kids grow.
I think the best way that I healed personally was I never held back what I was feeling. If you're angry, let yourself be angry. If you're sad, let yourself cry. If you have a hard time expressing how you're feeling, write it out. It doesn't matter if anybody ever reads it, but you get it out on paper. I've also found a lot of solace in friendships. Even if you don't say anything, if you sit down with a glass of wine and a good movie and a good friend, it does wonders for your soul. Remember that laughter is always good medicine.
Yes.
And never think that you are alone, because you have a community that is here for you, that loves you, and is always ready to listen.
Oh, that's so beautiful, honey. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're so wise to be so young, but I'm really proud of you. And I read the blog that you wrote the other day, and I was really touched, as I noticed others were by the comments that were left, that you were just so candid in expressing how you feel and letting people know. I mean, every day is not a bed of roses, but yet you continue to move forward. You're a great mom, and you're going to school, and you got your treadmill. You're doing a number of things to make life better for yourself, and I'm just so proud of you. It's so beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I'm excited to say that thank you to the treadmill and the Warrior Walker, I have lost one size of jeans. So I am very excited. Happy Thanksgiving to me.
That is so beautiful. Well, did you read his book? Did you read
I'm very
his?
excited.
I know, Shannon, that's so great, honey. Did you read his book, or did you just start walking because you saw the show?
I started walking because I saw the show. I've not had a chance to read his book yet. I'm hoping to do so at the end of the semester, which is thankfully 2 weeks away.
Wow, that is so great. She's referring to Stanley Bronstein, who calls himself the Warrior Walker, and he's written a book called Find Your Path by Walking Your Path. And he walks an hour and a half every day, whether it's on a treadmill, at the mall, at a football stadium. He just walks, and he has lost an unbelievable amount of weight from just walking. Well, honey, I am so proud of you. Boy, it's going to be, I won't even recognize you when we go to Camp Widow next August. That's beautiful. Wow.
I'm going to continue. Let's see what I can get before Camp Widow East.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's crazy. Well, hang on one second here. Hang on one second for me. I love what you are doing. You are just sweet and precious and fabulous and wonderful. And I think you're like the greatest. I am in awe of you, and I admire you so much. And I want to thank you for sharing all of your wonderful information on Robin Craig Live, honey. I love you to pieces.
I love you too. Thank you so much for calling me.
All right, baby girl. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, isn't that great? That is so, so great. I'm so glad that Shannon was available to talk to us. She's got such wonderful energy, doesn't she? I love her to pieces, and she's in the chat room. So if you're watching the show and you'd like to talk to her further and ask some questions, she's just right here. And if you're watching the show for the first time, I log on at least half an hour early every week, and that way we have a chance to catch up and talk across the nation. It's really a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So I wanted to share with you a couple of quotes that I found. One of them is from Oprah Winfrey, who says, "Be thankful for what you have. You will end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." Isn't that beautiful? I absolutely love that thought, because so often we do focus on what we don't have. And in reality, if you live in America, that alone is the greatest gift you could ever have. If you're not hungry, if you have clothing, if you have a place to stay, we are so much more blessed than so many people in other countries. Another good quote is by that author unknown. I wish we knew who these people were that wrote these quotes, because we want to give credit, but this particular quote, we have no idea. But it said, "Difficulties are opportunities to better things. They are stepping stones to greater experience. Perhaps someday you will be thankful for some temporary failure in a particular direction. When one door closes, another always opens. And that's something that I try to focus on. When something happens and it's really bad, or maybe you have a job that doesn't pan out, or whatever it is, if you just tell yourself it's okay because there's something else great just around the corner, you come out so much better. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So let me see. Now we're going to call Julia. Julia is also in the chat room. And we are going to call her and see what she is thankful for. Julia's in Kansas. Shannon is in Indiana. We're covering the globe.
Hey, Robin.
Hello, Julia. You're on Robin Craig Live. How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. How's the weather in Kansas?
It's cold.
Is it? I bet it's not as cold as it is where Shannon is. She's expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight. Can you imagine?
No, I don't want that yet.
I know. I know. I say my Texas blood is so not ready for that. Well, I know you've been in the chat room, and I know you've been listening to the show. What is it that you are thankful for?
Well, I thought about that, and always, it's my children. I think it's probably like that with most parents. What's really gotten me through a lot, though, and I've really thought about it in the last year, is my friends. I've really been there, and especially when I did not want to lean on my kids. You want your children to be carefree and not necessarily carry around what you are.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my friends have been there to pick up that slack, and the first year I didn't use that, and it's really helped me a lot this past year.
Wow,
I'm
that's
so grateful.
yeah, because it's so easy to get depressed and to feel negative and to just stay there. Do you have any tips for people who are in that bad negative spot, who want to come up but they're not able to? Do you have any advice?
I guess ask for help. That's really hard for me, is to ask for help.
Yes.
And I think I finally I've asked now,
Yes.
and I've been willing to receive help when someone offered it,
Yes.
instead of being too proud or saying, "Oh no, I'm fine." When
Yes.
fine doesn't
Yes.
very rarely means fine.
God, I am with you all the way. It is so difficult for widows specifically to ask for help because we didn't have to ask for help before. And we want to be able to take care of ourselves, and we're capable of taking care of ourselves. It just sometimes takes a while for us to reach a point where we know what to do. But I think you just hit the nail on the head. Don't be afraid to ask for help and to learn how to receive. I have had to learn how to receive help, and it's frankly been a really beautiful thing. I still can't say it's super easy for me, but I have certainly learned how to receive help. Have you learned how to receive help, Julia?
I'm getting a lot better at it. I think part of just learning to receive is the biggest hurdle there is being able to admit you need it. Whether it's emotional help or, physical help, I can't lift this, it's too heavy, or just things that you didn't do before because someone was there to do it for you. And
Yes.
so, yes, asking for help in any way, I think is really important, and it's really hard for a lot of people.
Yes, it is. And we all feel like an imposition. So it's not like people are just sitting around with nothing to do, ready to take care of our needs. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we don't ask for help, because we feel like we're imposing on others. But in reality, people feel happy when they're helping others. I know I feel happy when I'm helping others. So we have to assume that other people feel the same way. And the worst that can happen is that they say no. But that doesn't do anything other than keep you at the level where you already are. It can't push you back any farther. So I think that's great. Well, Julia, do you feel that you are more grateful since being widowed?
I'm not there yet, but there are things that I do now that I'm grateful I do that I didn't do before. donate a lot more of my time to the Cancer Foundation. I donate a lot of my time. Well, it's not even donating my time. It's being friends with a lot of people who are going through cancer, whether they're in treatment or they're in remission. You know, I find myself being a sideline cheerleader with like the Heart for Lymphoma organization and Patients Against Lymphoma, and even local charities in where I live. A small child here has a heart defect, and it's a cause that I hadn't even thought about, and I do a lot of work with Cooper's Cause, and I find that I feel better, like without the loss. Those things, I wouldn't have had time for them. I would have had time for them, but I wouldn't have put them in. I wouldn't have been so aware that the need was there. I wouldn't have done so much running to get volunteers for an Ironman race to hand out Gatorade because we're raising money for Cooper's Cause.
Yes, 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 yes. And we all like to help others and we all like to give back. But when we live in our perfect little world and everything's going great, we have a lesser tendency to look outside of that perfect little world. But once we lose our spouse and our world turns upside down, then we feel more compelled to help others. And I know for me, I feel much better when I'm looking to others rather than looking toward myself. Do you feel that way?
It's a lot. It's easier than looking at yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And it helps you put things in perspective, because when you help others, a lot of times your situation, which didn't really look that great, it starts to look a whole lot better.
Absolutely. It does.
Well, do you find that since being widowed that you more frequently tell people that you're thankful for them or the things that they do?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you think that that's something that's across the board for those who have lost a spouse?
I think so. I think that we love a little bit better and we hold on a little bit longer when we hug.
Yes. Yes.
And when we take these seats, when they're leaving, that's not just a phrase. It's really, truly, please be safe.
Yes.
When you leave.
Yes.
When we watch our children drive away, we pray for them, and we would do those things anyway. But it's so from your heart and it's so from your soul when you tell someone, I love you, or how much you mean to me. And it's not just words. It's really, you mean every word of it.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking at Sherry in the chat room, and she says that when she does something that she thinks that she needs help with and she finishes on her own, she feels so proud of herself. And I think that's true for all of us. Have you done something, Julia, that you thought, oh, I don't know if I can do it, but you did it and you felt really proud?
Yeah, it was funny. It was silly, and I thought of you when I did it. I did some trim on the outside of the house, and squirrels kept getting into the roof, and so I had to clean squirrel nests out, and I threw out this thing, and it was a squirrel. It was a skeleton, and it was completely intact. I almost fell off the ladder, so I kind of screeched, and I laughed, and I thought, I almost should take a picture of it. It was just so icky. But you know what? I would have never even considered doing that. It would have been like, well, that's not I can't get on a ladder or fix that, and yeah, you can.
Yes.
You can.
Yes, and that's so funny that you mentioned the skeleton thing, because I relate to that, and I love the fact that you thought about me with me and my darn critters. But I think I mentioned on a show a few weeks back where I had a friend that came over and we were cleaning out my storehouse, and of course my husband's been gone 6 years and everything in there he's stored in there. And as I'm cleaning, it was getting darker and darker and darker, so I would throw things away and then I would start sweeping, and all of a sudden I saw something that was kind of big, and it was not only a dead rat, it was like decayed. And I was so grateful that I was wearing gloves and that I was sweeping, because I was just like going like this with my hands, and I was so grateful that I didn't reach down and touch it. But it's kind of like everything else. Once you're face to face with something like that, it's not that big of a deal anymore. And you just realize how powerful you are. And that's something that we should all be very thankful of when we're widowed, to do things that allow us to feel empowered. That's beautiful, Julia. I love that. That's so great. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to share with people for in regards to being thankful?
Well, that, well, I think that I'm not unique. I think that we all kind of think in the same, think. But I think that since it all happened, I have found in myself that I do have time to help. And, I don't have money to help, but I have time.
Yes.
It's like giving at church. If you can't give money, you can give of yourself. And I've really discovered that, I do have a lot of myself to give that I didn't know was there before.
Wow.
I think I only gave it home or something.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Well, becoming widowed changes all of us, and I think that we all change for the better. I mean, it's a struggle, it's a challenge, but the more I talk to everybody, the more I see that we're really all kind of on the same page. We struggle, but we fight to create a good life, and we fight and struggle to do things that we've never done. And in the end, we emerge bigger and better, and realize the power that we have. We don't realize the power as long as we have a man standing over our shoulder and doing things for us. And we love that. We love that. And it's a gift, and it's something that we're all very thankful for. But then when it's gone, and we have to rely on ourselves, and we realize the things that we're capable of doing, we have to be thankful. I'm thankful to know that I can flip my king size extra thick pillow top mattress by myself. Who knew? I had no idea. And I mean, it took everything I had to do it. I still wonder how I did it, and especially without breaking a number of items or hurting myself. But I've done it 3 times now, and the last time I did it, I just wanted to make sure I could still do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely just...
Your own oil.
Yes.
Check your own oil and find out that you can't.
Yes, and I'm looking, Travel Writer in the chat room is saying that she agrees with Sherry that we all need to tell those in our life that we love them and that we are thankful for them. And that's something that I think that widowhood does for all of us. It allows us to be more vocal with our feelings. I don't know why we hesitate to say, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm grateful, thank you. I don't know why it's hard for us to do, but it's such a beautiful thing to do. And if something happens to the person that you care about, you can feel good to say, I know that that person knew that I was really appreciative and that I really cared about him or her, whoever it happens to be. That's wonderful. Well, honey, thank you so much for sharing. I love you to pieces, and I thank you for watching the show. You're wonderful, and if you need anything, you know how to find me. All right. Well, have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, I tell you, this is such a beautiful, you guys are making me feel really great. Just hearing the things that you're saying, and literally it's all across the board. I absolutely am so excited about that. And Travel Writer, I agree with you that we can make it a habit to tell people that we love them. And it's funny because, and I tell this story all the time, my family showed love but never said it, never said I love you. And I was raised that way, to know we were very bonded, and we were always there as a team. And my husband, when we got together, his family said I love you every 30 seconds. And at first I thought it was a bit too much. I'm like, God, do you really need to say it all the time? And then I got into it, and then I got into the habit. And now my husband's parents have lost not only my husband, but their firstborn son. And I feel certain that the last words they said to both of their boys was, I love you. And that's such a beautiful place to be. So I think that we should feel free to say I love you, and not to feel that we're going to be judged, or that people are going to say, oh, that's sickening, or that's syrupy sweet, or whatever. I think we need to have an appreciation for those words, and we need to say it as often as we can. It's something that I never tire of hearing, frankly. I don't know that I could ever hear it too much. I think it's the most wonderful thing that you could say to somebody. Well, I was looking up, I saw a story that was on ABC News. We're going to be talking to Tom Zuba in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to share with you first a news article called Thankfulness Linked to Positive Changes in the Brain and Body. Who knew, right? It says, for those who tend to be more negative rather than grateful, there's some hard evidence that might make you want to turn that frown upside down. A positive outlook and feelings of thankfulness can have a direct and beneficial effect on the brain and body. If thankfulness were a drug, it would be the world's best-selling product with a health maintenance indication for every major organ system. This was said by the head of the Division of Biologic Psychology at Duke University Medical Center. I would have had no idea. While the act of being thankful is not a substitute for a proper medical diagnosis and treatment, it is certainly a strategy that can be used to enhance wellness. Studies have shown measurable effects on multiple body and brain systems, and those include mood neurotransmitters, reproductive hormones, social bonding hormones, cognitive and pleasure-related neurotransmitters, inflammatory and immune systems, stress hormones, cardiac and EEG rhythms, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Can you imagine that being thankful could have an impact on all of those physical systems? It says humans have something called a negativity bias, where bad stuff in our lives outweighs the good by a measure of about 3 to 1. This bias, developed over millions of years, helps us survive threats in our environment. Fortunately, we no longer have to worry about a saber-toothed tiger attacking us on the way to work. I don't know about that one for me. Y'all know how I have all these critters. I might be having a saber-toothed tiger attack soon. I have no idea. But basically, it is saying that through all these millions of years, our bodies have learned to be prepared for threats. But now we still have this bias, which makes us hone in on negative events, emotions, and interactions in our lives. Isn't that crazy? The brain's fundamental organizing principle in life is to avoid threat and maximize rewards. Because of this, the chemical cocktail surging through the body allows humans to feel rewards and threats. The brain's primary reward chemical is called dopamine, and the interesting thing is that we cannot feel rewards and threats unless we focus attention on them. Many good and bad things happen in our daily lives, but until they come to our attention, we don't get the neurotransmitter release that allows us to feel either good or bad. But there's a twist. The brain doesn't know the difference when it's reacting to reality, fiction, or even past events, which explains why people feel scared when watching horror movies, even though they know it's not real, or they cry when reading a sad novel. Feeling thankful for things that have happened acts as a mental movie. The brain releases dopamine, which in turn has a positive effect on mood and emotional well-being. Isn't that the darndest thing? I love that. So we just have to realize that the more we feel thankful, we feel great, and it's good for us physically. I absolutely think that's the greatest thing. And I found another quote that I thought was really great. It said that you cannot be depressed and feel grateful in the same moment. Naomi Williams said that, and I love that. You cannot be depressed and feel grateful in the same moment. So when you're sad, when you've suffered a loss and you're having a bad day and everything's just blowing up and you just can't bear it and you're depressed, if you could just start saying, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that, I'm thankful for my friends, I'm thankful for my car, I'm thankful for my job, I'm thankful for the rain, whatever it is. I mean, we can go on forever and ever about what we're thankful for and know that that will take us out of our depression. That's so beautiful. If I haven't said it before, I'm thankful for you guys. I am so thankful for you guys. I love you all so much, and I really appreciate you watching the show, and I really appreciate you sharing my post with your Facebook friends and just telling others, because there are a lot of people who really just need to get pumped up and they need to hear about the challenges that we face. And that's what I try to cover here on Robin Craig Live. So I'm thankful for you. Now, before I forget and before we call Tom, I'm giving away a case of Bean-Eatos tonight. And these are those wonderful little chips. There they are, Bean-Eatos. My favorite are the black bean chipotle barbecue. I am in love with those. And they have a low glycemic index, which is fabulous. They have protein, they have omegas, they are gluten-free, and they are corn-free. So in order to win a case of these, they now are making the smaller individual packages, so that way you can take them in your lunch and you can eat a whole bag in one setting. The other ones are so big, it would be like about 4 different settings, and if you ever eat a whole one, you're like going to be sick because there's so many. So the little packages are great, and I'm going to send you a case of them. There are 24 in a case. If you are the 5th person to send me an email through my website, which is RobinCraigDirect.com, Robin with an I, CRAIG, direct.com. The 5th person to send me an email, I don't care what it is, just use the word Bean-Eatos, and you're going to win a case of these, and they're delicious. So, okay, now, before any further time passes, let's get Tom Zuba on the phone. He was supposed to be out with friends, but he promised he would watch his phone and find a quiet spot, so we'll find out.
Hi, Robin.
Hello, Tom. You're on Robin Craig Live. How are you, sweetie?
I'm doing well. I'm watching you. My friend sent me home and said I needed to be in a quiet space so I could really be present with you this evening.
Isn't that delightful? Wow. Well, I feel quite honored that you changed up your schedule for us. Thank you for that.
You're very, very welcome.
Well, I know, Tom, you've been on the show a couple of times, and I always say how amazing I think you are, because you've lost your wife, you lost your baby daughter, and you lost your son, and now you're a single father with one son. What is it that you are thankful for, Tom?
I'll tell you, it was about a year ago tonight that you and I did our first show. So, number one, I'm thankful for that.
That's beautiful. I'm thankful that you're on the show.
Thank you, thank you. I've been listening for about 15 minutes, and one of the things that one of your viewers, Sandy, noted was that Oprah talks about what she calls a gratitude journal. And on my Facebook page, I am accompanying folks through the holidays. I kind of suggest that we envision that last scene of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I don't know if you remember it, but everyone was in the newsroom and they all kind of hugged each other, and they very slowly, in the group hug, made their way to the door. So that's what I'm encouraging my circle on Facebook to do as we approach the holidays. But I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of the Gratitude Journal. And I suggest to folks that they make a commitment to write down 5 things that they are grateful for every single day. Don't go to bed until you've done that. And by January 1st, your life will be transformed, because you will have added that dimension of gratitude to your total way of being.
Wow, that is so great. Well, you know, everybody always says to develop an attitude of gratitude, and it can be difficult to do when you suffer adversity. I wonder, Tom, you know, you've been through so much. Were you always thankful? Were you always able to be in that place of gratitude, or did it take you a while to get there?
It took me long, hard work. I had to persevere at it. No, absolutely not. I mean, I spent many, many weeks,
in the deepest, darkest hole of despair and isolation and sadness. But was most of the time was aware of just that little flicker of flame, of life that was burning inside of me. But no, it was a very, very conscious effort to pull myself out of the depths of despair. And as I reflect back now, what I realize is that trying to identify things every single day that I was grateful for was a huge part of my own healing. And I think it helped accelerate that transformation. But one of the things that I wanted to share is, and I just get such a kick out of this, but just maybe 2 weeks ago, I love coffee. I absolutely love coffee.
Me too.
I have a whole pot of coffee every morning. I love it. And about 2 weeks ago, I decided, well, actually, I have a 16-year-old son, and he plays baseball, and we're trying to fatten him up. Because he's a pretty thin guy. So I switched to whole milk. I had been buying skim milk, and now to fatten him up, we're buying whole milk. So I put the whole milk in my coffee every morning. Robin, I get down on my hands and knees, and I'm in sheer gratitude because that coffee tastes so spectacular with the whole milk in it. It's like, who knew? Who would have thunk it? So I really, when my eyes open up in the morning, I'm thinking, I can't wait to get that whole milk in my coffee. And it just starts my day off from a deep, deep place of gratitude.
That is so beautiful, Tom. I know I am like you. My coffee pot grinds the beans, and I make it the night before. So when I come staggering or crawling out, as the case may be in the morning, all I have to do is hit the power button. And I feel so happy the moment I start to hear the beans grind. I just get so happy with that. I'm with you completely. And you know what's cute is to be so excited about something that's small. You know?
I'm excited about whole milk.
Yes. I know.
It's genuine. It's genuine excitement every day.
I hear it in your voice. I'm excited to think about it too. And I'm a skimmed milk girl. You're making me think maybe I'm going to have to buy the whole milk and just try it.
Listen, Robin, I have been drinking skim milk, which I now refer to as white water, for the last 40 years.
Wow.
Why? If you look at the calorie exchange, it's not that big of a deal. But 2 tablespoons of whole milk in the morning is not going to kill anyone.
Well, and you've got a very valid point there. My dad, he's been deceased for years, but he used to always say, what's the point? There's no point in even drinking milk if you can't have real whole milk.
Well, and I think, what we're really, really talking about is what are the simple pleasures of life? What makes me smile? What makes me feel good? My job is to figure that out.
Yes, and that is true. And we do have to figure out what makes us happy. And were you listening when I read that article about the effects on the body and the brain when we are thankful?
I was, and let me tell you the story. This Thanksgiving, just Thursday, I got an email from a woman that I don't know. Her name is Aisha, and she said, I've been following you on your website, I've been following you on Facebook, and I'm sending you an article that I think you might be interested in. It was written by John Tierney, who's a columnist with the New York Times, and the article is called A Serving of Gratitude May Save the Day. Very similar to the article that you're referencing.
Wow.
So listen to this, Robin. I immediately sent an email to Aisha and thanked her, and then I tried to find John Tierney online. This is Thanksgiving morning, because I wanted to thank him for writing the article.
Wow.
So I did a little bit of research, and I finally found him. I immediately sent him a thank you email. Well, then I got another email from Aisha, who told me she was writing from Mumbai, India. She had found my site. She was in India. She just really wanted to reiterate how much she appreciated the work I was doing. Okay, I checked my email again, and I got an email from John Tierney, the columnist. So within about 15 minutes, it's me, the New York Times columnist, and the woman from Mumbai, India. I'm thankful for the connections that we can make online and for how small the world has become.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful? And you know what? There are some people who are afraid of technology, and they say I made my whole life and got to this point without having a computer and the internet. I don't need it. What do you say to those people?
Oh, to each his own. But I'm telling you, on my Facebook page, I have created a community. There's over 1,500 people from all over the world, countries I didn't even know existed. I got up this morning and had a conversation with a friend of mine who lives in New Zealand. Now, I've never met Darren, only through the internet. So to me, it's a valuable extension of my life and has enabled me to connect with people that I never would have connected with before.
Yes, I feel the exact same way. And to be able to communicate in real time, that's another thing that's so great about my show. People can watch it anywhere they have a computer and the internet. It's not like the show is just national, it's international. And that is such a wonderful thing to think about right now. We're in the chat room, we're talking to people all across the nation right now in real time. And that's such a beautiful gift for which I know I'm most thankful.
Let me share something else that just happened. Last night, I got an email from a woman that I don't know, and she posed a question, something like, Tom, is it ever okay to quit? I'm just so tired, I'm so exhausted, nothing seems to be going right. Do you think it's okay to end it? So I emailed her back and I said, are you asking me if it's okay to commit suicide? And she said, yes. So I said, I'm going to pose your question. I'm not going to identify you by name, but I'm going to use your email. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page, and I'm going to ask that community to respond to you. Because I know there are a lot of people in that community whose spouse or child or parent have killed themselves. Let's see what they have to say. And rather the outpouring of wisdom and compassion and love, and gentle, suggestions is mind-blowing. And none of that would have happened without the power of the internet.
That is so unbelievable. What a fabulous story that is. Goodness. Well, Tom, I've been asking the other two widows who spoke on the show tonight if they feel more thankful since becoming widowed. I have to ask you that same question.
I'm glad that you did. I have a spectacular life. I love my life. I am one of, if not the luckiest people on this earth. And as you said, my daughter died, my wife died, and my son died. But I think in fact I know, because I have been in the deepest, darkest hole, and I never thought I would ever see a blue sky again, or feel the warmth of the sun on my face, or the breeze on my cheek. Honestly, I am so grateful, having been in the darkness, to just be able to go outside and take it all in. I am more grateful today than I have ever been in my life. I love life. I want to get down on my hands and knees and thank God that I'm alive.
Yes. Yes, the gift of life is so gigantic. And I know I find myself walking around the house just going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I can't even stop to say what I'm thankful for. I'm just thankful for everything, everything.
And what people that are much wiser than me say, and it is true, that 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 the depths of despair, the depths of the pain that you've been in will be equalized by the height of joy and the height of happiness. And I think it's very, very true. There's a balance. Those of us that have been so, 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 so low, the peaks that we will soar to are as high as the lows were lows. Now, I know it may not seem that way when we're in the throes of the lows, but trust me, that has been my experience.
Yes, and that's so beautiful. And I was looking up some Bible verses today, and 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18 says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." It doesn't say just give thanks in happy times, but in all circumstances. I thought that was so beautiful. And in Colossians chapter 3 verse 15, it says, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful." So God clearly understood the benefits of being thankful, and He wants us to be thankful. But it's hard to do when we get knocked down to our feet through adversity. It's a really tough thing to do. What would you say, Tom, to people who are struggling with feeling thankful? And I'm sure that there were some people who, even on Thanksgiving Day, felt like they don't have anything for which to be thankful.
I would say that the death of someone we love gives us the opportunity to ask and answer all of life's fundamental questions. And the goal for me was to make peace with my life. So one of the questions that I wrestled with is there a God? And if there is a God, what exactly is God? And what I came up with is that God is love. God is love. And as human beings, we don't have the slightest idea, really, what the enormity of love is and the all-encompassing nature of love. So I firmly believe it. I feel it in myself that my God loves me so much that regardless of what's happening to me, or in spite of what's happening to me,
Yes.
all is well. All is well. Particularly when it doesn't feel like it's well.
Yes.
But love only allows wellness for the creatures that He's created. And I can be really, really grateful about that.
Yes. That's so true, honey. I tell you, I love you to pieces. I just put your website and my website up. I'm speaking with Tom Zuba, Z-U-B-A. You guys can find him on Facebook, and you can also find him at tomzuba.com. And then I also put up my website, robincraigdirect.com, so that you can email me and win a case of Benitos. Well, Tom, I'm going to get you back on to talk about the holidays very soon. But I thank you so much for sharing your wisdom in regards to being thankful, and I am thankful for you.
Thanks, Robin. I love you, sweetheart.
Thank you, baby. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. I'm so thankful for everything. I think it's a poignant moment for me to say I'm thankful for my cat, Indigo Sherry. She loves men, and I think she came out because she heard Tom's voice and thought, oh boy, we have a visitor. She was disappointed to find that it was only me, but anyway, we're both wearing black, as you see, so it's kind of hard to see her. But that's my little co-host, Indigo Sherry. So I'm thankful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching the show. Don't forget to email me on robincraigdirect.com. The 5th email is going to win a case of Benitos. And you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And please join me every single week right here. And If you have any show ideas or you'd like to be a guest on the show, this show is for you guys. It's about you, and I would like to have all of you on. Most of you who are in the chat room, I know I've had on, and I love to get your comments. It's wonderful. So I appreciate you. I love you, and I'm going to hang out in the chat room for a couple of minutes, and we'll keep the dialogue going. So thank you for watching Robin Craig Live. Join me every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific. Love ya. Have a good evening.